Well, how are you this morning? Because I feel like you need to, show what type of man you are to me today.
I need to hold myself accountable. Look, call me licorice drifters because I am in all sorts this morning. Yeah, but look, it's one of those things. You just have to get up and get on with your day.
You do.
Scarface.
If you can't see that, as I just said to you, was it BDSM? Or was it just my dog Leo just, expressing himself this morning?
I'm leaning towards the former, not the latter. And hey, drifters, we don't discriminate on this podcast. Whatever proclivities you get up to in your personal lives is up to you to enjoy and for us to not judge.
Exactly. So talk me through it. Like, what time did your eyes wake? Did they open this morning?
When I text you this morning is when I woke up.
Yeah, which was what, 9:30ish?
Yeah,
9ish.
Bit after 9.
And we're recording this just after 10 drifters, so that's the type of man he is.
Look, you just gotta attack the day. You just gotta bounce out. Sometimes when you finally get a straight one, you just need to clip it off your pads.
Yeah.
And you need to put away the bad ball.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here doing today. Post 40th last night, from one of the greatest drifters of all time.
Yeah.
Jess Mitchell.
Shout out to you, Jess. Happy birthday.
Shout out to you, JKM. So I'm not a big costume party guy. I'm an anti-costume party guy. I want to rock up in whatever makes me feel comfortable type operator.
Which is funny because when we were talking about 30th, I reckon around this time last year, you were like, I might do an 80th theme.
Yeah, my
80th theme.
80th theme, yeah.
30th, and then you just were like, nah, who can be bothered organising that?
No, yeah. Look, it was awesome. It was costume themed, but it was J themed for Jess. So a lot of people were very creative in their outfits. I went as a court jester. I guess just trying to channel my inner class clown.
Do you know the history of the jester? Did you look into it at all?
No.
Okay.
No. But as far as I'm aware, they performed for the court, right? Court jesters. If you were a king or a queen, you couldn't just chuck on Netflix back in the day to entertain yourself. You couldn't just flick on horse racing and have a punt with the good people at Ned's back in those days.
That's true. So, jesters often face the fury of the king after delivering bad news. Their important role meant that they were often required to travel with the court to battles because they could boost morale. Quite like yourself, you're constantly, making jokes and boosting the morale of people around you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just channeling my inner class clown. But it was one of those materials drifters where like a cheap costume, right, that you buy online. So if I was anywhere near an open flame last night, I would have spontaneously combusted because it was some flammable material I was wearing. And the headpiece, like the big jester headpiece, I've got a massive noggin, as you know, and they don't make like costumes that when they say one size fits all, they don't realise the circumference of my noggin. So it was tight, but I managed to persevere and I wore it pretty much all night. But there's also people who actually went as Jess. So like J-themed went as Jess. And she's one of those people who's just got a really strong personality and she's got like clear traits and passions. So like it's someone that, very, very easily you can just rock up as her. And it's very easy to do that costume. And I was like, if either of us did D-theme, if I went as Dan or if you went as Declan, like what would you be doing?
I'd probably lean into your recruitment side of your whole personality, I guess, and your identity.
Yeah.
So suit, rings. I'd have to get some rings.
Have to get a couple rings.
Backpack, you and you backpack.
Yeah.
Might even steal your you and you polo that you got during the week.
Yeah. There's heaps of you and you merch.
Yeah.
Chuck on a hat, all that sort of stuff.
What would you go as me?
I'd probably, because you wear casual wear at work, it's a little bit difficult. I'd probably just wear like an Arctic Monkeys like t-shirt.
True.
And like I'd probably just steal Leo and just like cart him around. Probably wear like a Brisbane Lions scarf, like, you know what I mean?
All that good stuff.
Or maybe get like a Best Bets book and like just roll it up and put it in my back skyrocket. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a really good night, and yeah, look, I've just teleported here somehow. Like we're not recording, are we?
Ah.
Yeah, because I shouldn't have driven this morning. There's no evidence to suggest that I did. I'm just trying to ride that wave until eventually I settle into a zinger box later on today.
Well done by you. Well, drifters, so the reason why you're a little bit under the weather is because obviously the 40th, but we're actually entertaining clients at the track yesterday as well.
We were entertaining clients all day at the track. It was a marathon for me, not a sprint.
It was a big day. It was a big day for you. So let's get into what was a fantastic day of racing at Eagle Farm. And it makes it even better when you're positive at the end of the day, when you look at the ledger, which I think one side of this couch is, and the other one, in more ways than one, is behind. But the Queensland Derby. Now, this was an absolutely arrogant win, and you made the very poignant point after the race. It is just fantastic to see a 3-year-old like this put away an average field.
Yeah.
But dominate them.
Yeah.
What could this horse be in a Cox Plate?
Yeah.
Caulfield Cup.
100%. Geez, he was ridden a peach by J-Mac, wasn't he?
Wasn't he?
And it just... look, drifters, you might think that I'm better than everyone else. Like, the drifters might think that, but I'm going to give you a reality check. I am not. Far from it. I fall into the same traps over and over again. And the trap that I fall into often is backing things that aren't at least midfield, but back of midfield. But as soon as J-Mac got Kovalika from that good gate into a good spot, bit of cover, about midfield, off the rail, he was never losing that race.
Never. So I think we're probably about halfway through the race here. And what is he, 6th or 7th in run? One off the fence.
Yep.
Like, absolutely perfect spot.
Travelling too.
Absolutely travelling. And, J-Mac's just got him in a beautiful rhythm. And we saw him in the mounting yard prior to the race as well. And the Kingsford Smith was straight after. And that's, as you go to more races and all that sort of stuff, the sprinters and these middle distance horses, these stayers, they are completely different animals. But he was just head on the chest, walking around. And I said to you, a lot of the really nice stayers, their walk is just effortless. And his is effortless. So entering the Eagle Farm straight now, he hits the lead about 400 from home. And this J-Mac doesn't even get the whip out. He's just like given a few hard rides. Bang. Maybe one persuader just to really put him away. But he does what J-Mac does when he is on a very short one. He looks back and basically says, ta-ta.
I'm better. Stops riding him about 50 metres out and still wins by a couple of lengths. That was arrogant. Given me definitely, obviously, staying vibes with how rangy he is too and how leggy he is. It's just good to see, it's just good to see a 3-year-old put away a field like this.
Absolutely.
And run to his $1.80 quote with the good people at Nez. He might have even started shorter. But the positive to come out of the race, even more so than both of us finding Kovalika, like that was the easy part. It's trying to find some juice outside of that, Hutch. And you found some juice outside of that.
Now,
talk me through it.
Now, the juice box was nearly empty by the time the race started. Because, as mentioned on the podcast earlier in the week, fame for Peter Moody, who's coming out of some of the best country Victoria form that you'd ever hope to see, was $51 earlier in the week. And it started about $10. It was an enormous go considering Kovalika didn't drift. So you wanted to, basically heading into the straight, this thing is last on the fence. And you're like, oh no. But as these younger horses can do, they fan because they've got the wobbly legs. And I forget who was actually on. It might have been Sammy Clibberton actually, or Jason Collette. Just patient ride, brilliant ride, went around one horse, went the shortest way home, and this thing he puts in a very, very valiant effort. Huge run. And that's the easiest $10 quinella that you'd ever hope to see, Drifters.
Yeah, easy. Well found by you. And I said after the race, I was like, you take out Kovalik, who appears to be a very good horse, and Fame wins the Queensland Derby. Easy.
Easy.
And it looked like it was still going pretty well through the line too.
Mate,
like I know Kovalik pulled up a little
exactly.
bit. Exactly.
So it's like, Kovalik is the one you want to take out.
Yeah.
But is Fame going to go maintain that Group 1 level? You don't know, but it's good to see something, over that staying distance. Like, in all reality, this horse probably gets sold to Hong Kong.
Probably.
So we'll probably never see it again. But, I got my result out of it.
Yeah, you've seen yours.
Yeah.
No, it was an impressive performance. Probably the most dominant Group 1 win we've seen since what? Ooh. In Secret in the Newmarket, maybe?
Yeah.
I Wish I Win in the TJ wasn't dominant, but it was impressive.
Like Giga Kick's wheels were spinning.
All age stakes, Giga Kick.
Yes.
That was dominant.
Yeah, it was.
What the fuck am I thinking?
But the other Group 1 on the day was sensational. It was the Kingsford Smith.
The cracking race.
Very good race. Now, I've watched this a few times.
I have not.
Think about it. This is a fucking good horse, this. Because I said to you, I'll be right as though in the barriers. I had my bet extremely late because we saw this thing parade, and it was one of the worst parades that we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think I said multiple times, think about it, before the race, had run his race in the mounting yard. He was all over the shop. And even before the gates, he was all over the shop.
Yeah, he was running around. He just wanted to get on with it. But Sam Clipperton, and there was a ton of their owners were there. And I wanted to grab one of them, but they were all just a bit preoccupied. I didn't want to be that guy. I was like, hey, mate, give me the insight. But I wanted to know prior to the race if that's how he parades. And Sam Clipperton said after the race that is how he parades. So if I'd known that, probably would have tripled my bet. But look at him here, mate. 200 from home, go button. What I've learned is Rothfire just keeps trying. He's a tough horse to get past.
He's such a good horse.
So, but think about it, 3 wide with a bit of cover behind Volana. Mate, I think that's a dominant win.
I think so. Look, yeah, he wasn't my own toppy, but I did say on the podcast, beware the pretty much unbeaten horse. And, he's put away a really good field here in what is his 9th start, and he's a gelding, he's 4. So, yeah, he's just going to keep going on an upward spiral. But, so out of this race as well, Converge, is he back to, that Group 1 sort of form? He saved a lot of ground on the inside rail. Mm-hmm. Rothfire is just a really good horse. I think Eduardo is near the end. Volana, disappointing. Paul Laley went to the back of the field, like I said.
Look at him run through here. He's running past a lot that are slow, but I could see people going like, gee, Paul Laley finished off well there.
Yeah, no, he's ready to go to the breeding barn, Paul Laley. The thing is, like, there wasn't a lot of things running on at Eagle Farm yesterday.
No, there wasn't. You need to be in the first half.
Yeah, which, again, like I said, Drifters, I keep falling into the same traps over and over again. I tell myself, mate, back things that you think are going to be in the first third of the field. And I was like, Paul Laley, he's the pace up front, he's the pressure, and then he'll sweep on the outside and win. It's like, no, he's never going to do that. What was I thinking? But, no, yeah. Think about it, well found by you. I think well found by a fair few people. But it's not like he was $2.50. He was about $5 when he jumped with Neds.
Yeah, so he maintained his price, which I was a little bit surprised about because the midweek betting for this race was fascinating. Because when we were talking about it on Wednesday, Volana was $13, and that Volana and Palele was where you were playing the majority of your $100 strategy around. And then the next day, you said Volana is $6.50 and favourite with the good people in ads. I was like, you are fucking kidding me.
I couldn't believe it.
$13 into $6.50. Huge go.
He's been disappointing.
His first up win, and think about his first up win, we've basically the exact same.
Yeah.
Against like the hard fit horses, you could basically go like, oh, both these horses are in for a fantastic prep.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think about like Villana's first up run was on a heavy deck. Maybe he doesn't like the bone dry deck. He's a colt still, so maybe he's just being a bit coltish. But yeah, I don't know what you do with him. Like Paul Ailey's, he's going to start Paul Ailey. Like he's done. But he's got his Group 1. Mm-hmm. He's got a couple Group 2s and a couple Group 3s. So like he'll stand at stud. He's not going to be a $100,000 stallion yet, but
he would do the job.
Yeah.
Right? Because who was it? There was one horse that I think Tom Hackett was telling us about yesterday.
Encryption.
Encryption. Did he sire?
He's the sire
Sofrado.
of the thing that you backed.
Sofrado.
Yeah.
So, he's an ex-Godolphin horse, stands up here. He could be that type of operator.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And, if your stud fees, excuse me, even if your stud fees like $15,000, which is on the cheaper side, like if you're servicing a couple hundred mares in the season, bang.
Yeah.
It's a fortune.
100%. Absolutely. So... Yes, Group 1's was... The other horse that I backed was King of Sparta. I think he ran well. He was a lot closer in the run. I think to see his absolute best, he needs to be ridden colder, though, I think. So he did run on nicely for 4th. But I think, think about it. If they head towards a Stradbroke, it'll be fascinating to see how that race unfolds. I still think something like an Af Cabin could probably be my pony.
Yeah. Just Stradbroke is such a good race, and it's always such an open race. I'm just going to wait and see.
Yeah.
But think about it. You'd think would have probably not the toppy, but he'd be 55, 56 kilos, which I still think he's a good enough horse to lug that and win. I think the Blood had how many kilos last year?
I'd say around 55 at a first guess, which I think about it would probably have as well.
Yeah. So. That's still a weight that a really good horse can carry easily. Like if it was 58 or 59 kilos, you'd be like, oh, but he's not going to be that. Yeah,
absolutely. So this is I think it's the Lord Mayor's Cup that we're looking at here now. So this is the Serpentine race where he was leading, looking like the winner, I might add. Now this is a hell of a go right at the line here. So. My on-top selection, Cucaracha, took an eternity to wind up. He lines up and eyeballs Serpentine with about 100 metres to go, but then warning, a lot of things were running on well on the rails. I think the rail was the place to be. Warning goes, and then Calipor joins in late, and bang, I just get the bob in with Cucaracha.
Yeah. No, well found.
And past the line, he's last.
Yeah.
Out of those 4.
I had Serpentine, who he could go even further, I think. But he was so close on the line. Did I end up running second?
Yes.
Yeah. Warning, up on the inside. Oh,
his career looked done.
Some horses, they get to Queensland and they just grow an extra leg, and Cucaracha's one of them, because one of his only other wins is the Queensland Derby 2 years ago.
Yeah. And I think his last win was in Brisbane as well, over the mile. So some horses just love that. Wasn't it a sensational day yesterday?
It was sensational, Drifters. We are incredibly blessed up here. And it was just perfect weather to be at the track. Great racing. Like, I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but like obviously you've got New South Wales. I think they're the kingpin at the moment. Mm-hmm. And you got Victoria in a comfortable second, within striking distance of New South Wales, but they're second at the moment for me. And then you've got a pretty decent gap. But I tell you what, who's on the podium with the bronze medal around their neck? It's fucking Queensland racing easily, mate.
Now,
easily.
You made the extremely good point yesterday, and you're like, I reckon the Stradbroke Handicap is the best sprint handicap race in Australia. I was thinking about it. I'm like, what's going up against it? Oakley Plate, Newmarket Handicap, and maybe like the Galaxy or something.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I think the Stradbroke is definitely the best handicap race.
Yeah, 100%. I think just the distance,
sprint,
the distance, the timing. You have the sort of late blooming 3-year-old sprinters. You have the the up-and-coming sprinters, and then you have the milers who, with a light weight of 1,400 metres, are in with a chance too if they're a bit forward. So, yeah, it's a great betting race every year. The form out of it always stacks up. Terrific.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Lord Mayor's Cup, I believe this is. Now, this is the Big Boy Roy race. This is the one race where, I wasn't seeing it like a beach ball drifters, I'll be honest. Now, character got scratched for you.
Fuck's sake. So I jumped on New Mandate, but not in a big way. And without a fight.
This is a huge win. Probably a win from... It's probably as far back as they came from, actually. Yeah. And so you have to bonus his type of victory as well. Luncey's is not... He's not a winner. He hasn't won it for about 70 weeks, at least. And that's Berdebeck back into third and fourth. A bit unsure who that was. But without a fight, something like the Brisbane Cup, potentially. Now, is that next week? Is it the week after? It might be on Stradbroke Day. Could he jump from the 1,800 metres up to the 3,200? He ran in last year's Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Potentially. When's the Q22? Next week?
Yeah.
On the quick backup, 2,200 metres. That's what I'd do. But I'm no trainer.
You're not?
No. Far from it. Far from it. But that was well found by our good friend Bradley.
It was. Now... What is this? This is the Fred Best. Yeah. You found some luck here, I believe.
Yeah.
This horse is enormous, drifters.
Yeah. We're in the mounting yard before the race, looking at Hawaii 5-0. He is enormous. He's a hulking colt. And the Waterhouse and Bott things, you made the point, they just land themselves in the right spot more often than not, mate. And that's just... And you're in the right spot, and it's a pace-on day. You just want to be on that horse. So, yeah, he put away the field pretty professionally, but he did have a gun run.
He did. He was what they typically call, I hear other podcasts say, the coffin. Basically, you one back off the leader on the fence, but... How many times do you see the runs appear for those horses? Sometimes it could be an absolute horror watch, but more often than not, they get out. He got out here. So entering the straight, he's just got an absolute gun run. And at no stage am I, if I'm on Hawaii 5-0, am I nervous.
No.
At all. Now, Yellow Brick is trying to get a run right behind him, and he gaps him there. So...
Yeah.
We're from about 200 metres from home, and then Yellow Brick goes right down the middle. But, yes, does Yellow Brick go close? Yeah, but I don't know, mate. I'm all over Hawaii 5-0 there.
It's professional. Plus, he was about 5 weeks between runs.
Yep.
So whatever he did there, he'll come up a lot sharper into the Stradbroke. So for me, I think Yellow Brick is probably a miler, and I think Hawaii 5-0 is more of a sprinter. So I hope Yellow Brick gets into the Stradbroke because he deserves to be there. Lightweight horse. He's just honest. Always there or thereabouts. I think he hasn't finished outside second, has he?
No, I don't think so.
So he's finished first and second every race, and I think Hawaii 5-0 is pretty sharp. So, yeah, found one.
Well done to you.
Now, thank the Lord Christ Almighty.
You went from perfect run in transit to a horror watch.
This was horrific. I was having a whinge. I was having a sook. I was being a victim for about 10 minutes after this race. But you found another one.
Yes, I did. $13, no less. And not only that, I survived a protest.
Yeah, that was so bizarre.
Brad Davidson of Sky Racing fame said that it should have been upheld. In what fucking universe should that have been upheld? Mate, I had self-interest, right? I was looking at it extensively. But there was no way that the protest was not even warranted. And a lot of the Twitter commentary agreed with my sentiments as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I couldn't believe it when it was 6th versus 1st. But Mate, you had a you had a dream run.
Yes.
So you're up on the inside at the moment, which proved to be the place to be. Apparently, there's just the run's opened up.
Didn't go around another horse, Sofrado, but so the interference happens right about now so Make a Call is lifting. Sofrado does go back inside, but does that warrant him losing the race? I don't think so.
No, dismiss that. No, well found by you. So he's obviously going to head towards a JJ.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
My thing Solidify in the Sharp and Smart Silks was ahead of your thing Sofrado for basically the entire run until until he moved on the inside and there was nowhere to go. Oh, I'm glad I didn't look up the name of the jockey from New Zealand because he's flowing in here and he's changed from being a jockey. He's got a new profession as a butcher. Unbelievable. Takes him on the inside and there was no reason to do that.
Nah.
There was no run on the inside.
I'm looking at this again. It was Nash on the Waller horse. He might be the horse I'm on next start, actually, Solidify. Have a look at this again.
Yeah, 100%. He's a good thing beaten.
All right, so look at... Nash is on the Star Thoroughbreds thing, I'm pretty sure. And he basically holds him out there. And so I thought he was going to get the Sofrado run, but at the top of the straight, that's where he loses that run. And then it's just a bumping duel.
Yeah.
So, and then he brings him on the outside here, which I think that's the mistake that he's probably made. He's indecisive.
Yeah.
But late, when he gathers, he gets a hell of a head of steam.
Oh, yeah, when he gathers himself up, he was never given a chance. I was so filthy. Like, when your thing gets beaten and you just haven't found it, like, fair enough. But when your thing gets beaten like that and never actually gets a chance to show his wares, I was filthy. And, yeah, I hate that jockey now. But, nah, well found by you.
Thank you, mate. And the last race that we'll talk about, I haven't actually seen this. It's the Helen Coughlan Stakes. The last, I was on Extremist.
I was on Hellfest. There was a bit of a go for her late. I got on at about 15s, and I think she jumped about 8s or 9s with good people at Ned's.
I think Extremist was your favourite, about $5. But again, Brisbane just leading the charge with these extremely competitive races to end off the card. This is actually the first time I'm watching this. So, Extremist just, is there for until about the 200.
Oh, you're kidding me. Hellfest gets held up the entire time. I haven't watched this race. Oh, and then she gets going. Oh, no. It just wasn't my day. And that's fine. That's fine. Oh, no. That's a horrible watch, Hutch.
She was behind Brookspire, who we rightfully declared, like, if we had a lay of the day, it was her.
Oh, that's disgusting.
One diva.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I could see her winning next start.
Yeah. It's all good. Like, it's fine. You can't win them all.
No.
You can't win them all. I go again. I pick the Oaks winner. It's fine.
And, it was my time to shine, Drifters. And, might I say, it was pretty well overdue. Not necessarily. I think as you kind of like rightly pointed out last week, we are rarely missing in Brisbane this carnival.
No, we don't miss often. Like, it's 2 versus 1. Like, it's the two of us versus the bookies. But, yeah, like, there's rarely a race where we're just like, yeah, we were nowhere near the mark here. No. Like, if both of us don't find the winner, like, we found something that's run like second or third.
Yeah.
Or we found something like Solidify that was absolutely butchered. So Drifters, like, follow us with some semblance of confidence. Speaking of Drifters, we had a drifter, Nate, I believe his name was.
Yes.
Come up and say g'day in the members area at Eagle Farm. So g'day to you, Nate. Thanks for coming up and saying hello. We encourage you to do that, Drifters. You know,
I think he was on Calipore, wasn't he? I believe.
Calipore, potentially.
Yeah, I think Calipore, and then, you know what we should have done? We should have lobbed his selection, your selection, my selection into a trifecta, and then that would have been...
Juicy.
That would have been, you know, a nice little payday. But we don't. There's so many times where I've gone... Like, even when I'm winning, I'm losing. Because, like, in that size, I was like, Sofrado's one on toppy. The one I'm scared of is Snapback.
Yeah.
Now, Snapback was about $11 as well. And now I look up on the big screen, and I was like, I said to you, look what the Cornell is paying. And it was 60 to 1.
Yeah, you just need a little simple tenner on that.
God damn.
A little simple tenner on that with the good people at Nets.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, look. You had a terrific day.
I did.
And hopefully the good times keep on rolling for
Yes. Well, you know, when all of our focus goes to Brisbane, I feel like there's money to be made.
you. Yes. Of course there is. And it's just it's a terrific carnival. Do you know who was very happy yesterday? Ben Dorries, one of the RaceNet riders, who declared that during the week if Kovalica lost, he'd swim from Brisbane to Stradbroke, through the shark-infested waters of Moreton. So I said to him, just in passing, I was like, Ben, did you bring your flippers, mate? And he chuckled. It was funny. and look, he was watching that race, probably with a little bead of sweat, but I reckon literally about 600, 800 metres in, he would have been like, cool, I'm staying dry.
Yeah.
I'm staying dry, bro.
No towels required.
Yeah, so... And
he did have a giant smile on his face after the race. But when you did make that very humorous comment, he was like, hopefully not. Yeah, it is a horse race after all.
Yeah, it is a horse race. They're not machines.
Yeah.
No, but that for me was a terrific day of racing because of the prospects that come out of it.
Yes.
And it happens every year at the Brisbane Carnival. There's always something that come out of it.
Yeah, I agree. But Drifters, we have one very fragile man here, so we've got to let him go to, heal.
Yep.
See Dr. Colonel and, just get his head right, you know what I mean?
Salute to the Colonel. May God bless your existence.
All right.
And your finest work, the Zinger Box.
Toodaloo, we'll see you Wednesday.